We are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.
Imagine for a second a quiet suburban home, a place of comfort, of routine. Now imagine that same home becoming the center of a really chilling mystery. Well, that's exactly what happened to 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who you might know is the mother of journalist Savannah Guthrie. So today, we're going to break down the analysis of her abduction, a crime that was, it turns out, anything but random.
Right from the jump, the investigation made it clear this was no ordinary break-in. As the source material argues, and as you can see right here, this wasn't a random burglary. This was a targeted attack. So let's really unpack what that means, because every single piece of evidence points to a terrifying level of planning.
See, to understand why it was targeted, you first have to understand the victim. Nancy Guthrie was a woman of deep faith, someone with a very consistent, very predictable routine. But her age and her mobility issues, those weren't just personal details. The analysis suggests that the perpetrators saw these as vulnerabilities, factors they specifically calculated and, well, exploited.
So what did the crime scene itself actually reveal? This is where the story really starts to take shape. Let's follow this evidence trail together and see how the pieces of this pretty scary puzzle start to fit.
The first clues didn't even come from the physical world. They came from the digital one. Just look at these timestamps. At 1:47 in the morning, the doorbell camera gets disconnected. Then, just over 40 minutes later, at 2:28 a.m., Nancy's pacemaker monitoring app goes offline. This created this incredibly precise 41-minute window, a digital black hole where the entire abduction almost certainly took place.
The physical scene was just as telling. The door was found unlocked and lights were left on, both things that were completely out of character for Nancy's meticulous habits. And then there was the blood. The analysis of what's described as low-velocity, free-falling spatter is absolutely crucial. It suggests she was upright and moving, not caught up in some violent, dragged-out struggle. And that one forensic detail offered what the source calls a sliver of hope that she was actually alive when she was taken.
Okay, so you put all this evidence together, and it points to a meticulous planner who knew exactly what they were doing. But who would commit a crime this calculated? While the source analysis starts piecing these clues together to create a surprisingly specific profile of the person they believe is responsible.
And the profile starts with a really bold claim, based entirely on statistics from similar crimes. It's a man. The analysis argues that, historically speaking, this type of high-stakes ransom kidnapping is a crime that has pretty much exclusively been carried out by male perpetrators.
But the profile goes way beyond gender. This wasn't some random stranger passing through. The perpetrator is believed to be local, someone who knew Nancy's daily routine, her church schedule, even the specific security situation at her house. This suggests surveillance, a chilling kind of closeness. As the analysis puts it, the person responsible is likely someone in her circle or just beyond it.
Now, as the investigation got deeper, the focus shifted from the crime scene itself to the high-stakes communication and a family's desperate public plea for Nancy's life.
Nancy's children, including Savannah Guthrie, they had to face the cameras, their faces just etched with exhaustion and grief. The source describes them as the walking wounded. But their public plea wasn't just an emotional appeal. It was a very specific, very strategic demand for proof of life.
So what exactly is proof of life? Well, think of it as hostage negotiation 101. It's the family's way of looking the abductor right in the eye and saying, show us she's alive before we even think about a ransom. It's a non-negotiable step to make sure they aren't being cruelly extorted after the worst has already happened.
Now, the very fact that the family made this demand tells us they got a ransom note that they believe is real. And according to the source, a big reason for that is Savannah Guthrie herself. I mean, as an experienced attorney and journalist, she isn't someone who would act rashly or go against FBI advice. The note must have contained private, specific details, maybe a mention of her mother's Apple Watch or the home's floodlights, things that only the perpetrator and the family could possibly know.
So, with a credible ransom demand now on the table, the race against time officially began. And it's right here that the source analysis turns a really critical eye on the official response, highlighting just a terrifying sense of urgency.
There's a sharp critique here. It argues that local police may have made a critical error by opening the crime scene too early, which could have let media and others contaminate trace evidence. So the demand is for immediate federal intervention, for the FBI's digital forensics experts to start tracking that reported Bitcoin ransom demand, and to do it now, before the anonymous digital trail goes completely cold. And the stakes just could not be higher. This quote from the source material really captures the grim reality of the whole situation. Every hour that passes, the statistics get worse, and they taste like dirt in my mouth. In abduction cases, time is the ultimate enemy, and that clock is just ticking louder and louder with every single moment. And so, we're left with this frantic race against the clock. The source portrays this whole thing as a cruel game of cat and mouse between a calculated, hidden kidnapper and a desperate family. The question that just hangs over everything is, can authorities outsmart the cat and win this race for Nancy Guthrie's life? The answer? Well, it remains terrifyingly unknown.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive